If you're struggling with happiness, try these 5 life-changing habits now. The first is to stop forcing happiness. In our society today, I find, and I found myself in the past, always trying to feel that joy or that blissfulness all the time. I always wanted to be up here. But the thing is, if you only experience this level of happiness, you never understand what that real level of happiness feels. So it's impossible to feel up here because you are human. And as human, you feel a variety of other emotions. You feel sadness, you feel anger, you feel stress, and all of those are completely normal. And the best thing about those emotions is the contrast between happiness and those emotions shows you how great happiness is. But the thing is, when you always try to force happiness, you stress out because you feel mad, you feel sad, and you're like, why am I not happy? And that can create stress. So you have to recognize first that happiness is not always constant. Within stopping forcing happiness, you always want to embrace challenges as well. If you feel like you're just taking on challenges and you want to push them away, that can cause you to feel like you are forcing happiness. Instead, if you can reframe those challenges, be like, this challenge is helping me grow and it's helping me learn and helping me become a better person. And what this will do is that you have state happiness and trait happiness. State happiness is just what I referenced. That's that joy, that's that blissfulness. And sometimes we can get caught up in chasing that all the time. But you want to shift to is trait happiness. Trait happiness allows you to be happy on a long enough time horizon where you are facing challenges and facing growth. What I've done to develop my trait happiness instead of state happiness is I've reframed in my mind is that I am not trying to chase joy. I am not trying to chase blissfulness, but rather what I am chasing is making the most out of my life. And as I've made that shift, as I've made the shift from chasing that joy to making the most out of my life, I feel like I have that trait happiness. I may not be feeling good in the moment, but I feel good about my overall life because I am choosing to pursue actions that align with my values. And when you align your actions with your values, it helps so much. In this last 1.5 years, I went through some burnout. I didn't take a day off and I was focused on the wrong thing. I was focused on only making money and I didn't align my actions to my values because my values are helping people go from victim to victor mindset so they can live a life on their terms. And I had gotten away from that. And the reason I'm so driven on that is because I went to an inpatient hospital when I was 17. This is for some pretty serious mental stuff. And what I realized there is I've been dealt 2 aces. And so what I had to do is I'd realign my work and my action with my values, and that helped my trait happiness a whole lot. The second thing you can do is set goals and pursue those goals. If you feel directionless in life and you're not sure what's next, it's really hard to develop that trait happiness. So what you want to do is set goals around your professional, relationships, resources, and health. And that's been really helpful for me. When I set those goals, and if you want to break down those categories even further, you take the balance fit in the description below, really helpful tool that I take every year. But when I break those down, I can set goals in each area. And then what I do is I set my yearly goals, I set my quarterly objectives, which then translates to my weekly and daily goals, and it helps me create momentum. When I know that I send 100 emails a day, that is contributing to my quarterly goal of getting a certain amount of clients and making a certain amount of impact, whatever that looks like for you. So when you set those goals, you can break them down to a daily cadence and you could feel like, oh my gosh, I'm making progress, which will then help you create that trait happiness. What I found about myself is that when I work really hard and I have a day where I give it all, that is when I am most satisfied. I really enjoy a day where I work all day, I have a really good lift, and then I spend time at the end of the day with the people I care about the most. That's about the most ideal day I can have. So what's that signal to me is to create that ideal day as many days as I can in a week. So you need to find your ideal day. Maybe your ideal day is experiences and family. And if you can do that, that can become a goal. You could set goals around those experiences in that ideal day, and you'll just generally feel better if you're living your ideal day every day. And another thing within setting goals, pursuing them, it's progress, not perfection. And the easiest way you can reframe this in your mind is instead of focusing on what are you doing wrong, focus on what are you doing right. And when you're focusing on what are you doing right, you will create that cycle of belief and momentum, which will carry you further than if you were to think about what are you doing wrong, because that mindset does not serve you. The third thing you can do is start to live in the present. In our ever busy world, it is so hard to get away from our devices and truly appreciate what is in front of us. And the way you can do this and learn this skill is start practicing quiet time. It's one of my favorite things. It's one of the things that I attribute to helping me get over my burnout. Because when I was burned out, my mind was on overdrive. It just kept running. And so what I had to do is deliberately take time away from all devices and get quiet time. So what I do is I put everything aside. I just sit and I just think for 5 or 10 minutes, especially on drives. It's really helpful. Turn off the music and I just think and I just drive. And I found it a really good way to compartmentalize some of my thoughts and work through some of the struggles that I'm having, help me get over that burnout. As well as when I practice my quiet time, it's much easier to be present when I'm with people the people that I care about, because I've practiced being present in my quiet time. Also, living in the present, you want to embrace what's happening. Whatever struggle you are facing, you want to embrace it. So right now, I'm working on building a client acquisition system, and that's not my favorite thing to do. Sales and marketing is cool to me, but it's not truly what I want to do. I want to help people and work one-on-one with individuals on their problems and on their goals and some of the things that they're facing. But the thing is that when I've been able to find peace in the process and understand this will just be a better story for the future, what I'm working on now, it's been helping me embrace what's happening and live in the moment with that and sit with it. And it's a much better mind frame than just wanting to escape it all the time. The fourth thing you can do is prioritize your physical and mental health. You are the asset. You have to live with you for the rest of your life, so you better take care of yourself. And there's no better way to take care of yourself than physical and mental health. And the way you do this is, number one, exercise. And the best exercise plan is the one you can stick to, whether that's walking, whether that's yoga, whether that's lifting weights, whether that's MMA, whatever it looks like for you, you need to find exercise that can release those endorphins for you, because physically you will just feel better. Also, sleep. Sleep is such a big part of physical and mental health, because sleep makes such a difference in your cognition, in your moods, and your response to stress. Seek that 7 to 9 hours. It's been one of the single biggest contributors to my success in my life. And finally, within mental health, if you need help, seek it. Whether that's a counselor, whether that's a coach, whether that's a friend, find a support system that you can have that helps you thrive. And that leads me to that fifth and final habit that you can do, is surround yourself with positive influences. Whether that's the people you surround yourself. Do those people contribute to your goals or detract from your goals? And it's really easy to tell, because right when you get done hanging out with them, how do you feel? When I hang out with successful people, right when I get done hanging out with them, I want to execute. I want to own the world. Whereas when I hang out with people that are not successful and are not in line with my goals, I typically feel like shit. So you have to understand, do those people contribute or detract from your goals? And if you surround yourself with those positive influences, I guarantee you'll feel a whole lot better. So that's if you're struggling with happiness. Those are 5 life-changing strategies you can use. Maybe comment your favorite one in the comments below, and I will post more of these videos.